Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with Our Trade. Welcome to our weekly webinar, Trading Prospects, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. This is Simon with Our Trade. As I said, a few things about myself. I'm a senior account manager with Our Trade. I've been trading and involved with trading for the past 24 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000, and I did the prop trading professionally for about 11 years. And after that, I moved on into, as I like to say, less stressful environment, trading, but not as intense. Also, I started to mentor and educate others, and currently I'm very happy I have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at Our Trade. Now, agenda of the webinar, what we do here is pretty much, as traders like to say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. And pretty much what it does, it just hopefully removes chaotic moves from our trading and creates a structure and planning so we can be more successful, even though it doesn't guarantee success, of course. So we talk about indices, stocks, commodities, and Forex, a little bit of crypto for dessert. Risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com. Of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, please feel free to subscribe and follow us on Telegram, X, which used to be Twitter. And my favorite, as I always say, YouTube channel. Favorite for many reasons. And of course, main reason is you can find a lot of educational material there. You can find tutorials, you can find webinars that you missed or you think you might miss, and it's a lot of information there and it's accessible for you. Please feel free to subscribe. If you like this webinar, if you are watching on the YouTube, please don't forget to click likes. Again, subscribe, click on the funny bell that you'll be notified when new things are coming in. Now, we'll be talking about a few things today, actually many things. We're still in earnings season, so we had some earnings last week. We are having about 150 out of S&P 500 companies reporting this week, including the big names as Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta Platform, and others. So we'll be talking about some of them. And definitely we'll be talking about commodities. I'll show you the list of leaders and losers for the last week in commodity world. We'll talk about Forex, starting with US dollar, as US dollar remains strong. And something that will be a lot of news this week, McDonald's. It's a E. coli case rise, and this is the article from Barron's. And I remember in 90s, 92, 93, I think around that time, there was a breakout in Jack in the Box. The company had a lot of issues. I think few children died, unfortunately, and a lot of people got infected by that bacteria. So here an article says came out on 25th before the end of the week. It says that by that time, the number of people being affected, it's about 75. So definitely we'll hear more news and more details. Funny enough, I don't know if it's funny, but McDonald's is reporting this coming week on Tuesday as well, the earning reports. So definitely it's going to be interesting to watch McDonald's. It's already reacted to the news. We'll take a look at the charts when we get there. Now, nice article also here at marketwatch.com, and something I think I mentioned last week about, somebody's lying. We have all three assets moving higher: gold, US dollar, and equity markets are moving. So this article explains a few things, or asks the questions actually, that the Wall Street is really confused, as normally gold would be a safe haven or inflational instrument, and now both markets are making all-time highs, and so does gold. And also in the article, it says there that it never happened that both S&Ps and gold were up 25% on the year, and we're actually facing it this time. S&Ps are almost up 25%. I think gold is up about 30% on the year. So interesting article also. Now, oil, as you all heard, unfortunately, the war continues in the Middle East. Over the weekend, I think early morning, late night, local time, there was some attack on Iran in response to Iranian attack on Israel. We'll definitely see some moves in oil. It already moved prior to that, as people were or traders were expecting certain things to happen. So the oil was up on the week, and definitely we'll see some reaction when the market reopens on oil. Now, this is the situation on the interest rate CME tools predictions. As you could see here, in a week time, we jumped from 90% to about 95% in a probability of a quarter percentage interest rate cut on November 7th, which will be happening soon, and it will be happening 2 days after the US elections. Very interesting times. So definitely we'll be watching that and reaction. Now, economic calendar, it's worth saying few things, especially for new people. This is public information. It is important if you are trading, whether you use it or predict your moves or market moves based on that, it's your business. But I think every trader should know these things in advance, especially important events like interest rate decisions, like inflational number, NFP numbers that is coming up this week. So it's important to be prepared, so you won't be just looking at the chart and see this huge spike up or down or both and saying, okay, what just hit me, right? So be ready. Some people put in the calendar reminders and so on. So here, as you know, by the way, you can access it on our web trader or mobile app or any provider. This is public information. It's accessible for everyone, and it's the same source. So here I take out the high impact events only. As you could see here, it's in red, the impact level. So let's go through it really quick. Monday and Tuesday, we have a speech of Governor of Bank of Canada. Canadian dollars were super weak. We'll take a look when we get there, especially against the US dollar. It's been USD CAD's been stepping up steadily. So that's a speech of the Governor of Bank of Canada. Wednesday, we have Australian number here with CPI numbers from Australia, GDP numbers from both Germany and the European Union as a whole. ADP numbers gives us a little bit of an indication what the NFPs will be towards the end of the week. GDP, gross domestic product, will show us the state of economy from the US, CPI numbers from Germany. And here's another speech. I guess he has a lot of things to speak about. Sorry for my sarcasm. So 3 days in a row, there's a speech of the Governor of Bank of Canada. Thursday, manufacturing PMI from China. Sorry, China's been struggling, as we discussed last week and the week before. They take some economic measures. The initial reaction was super positive, but it took 2 days to erase half of those gains. So we'll take a look at China when we get to indices. Bank of Japan, very important monetary policy statement conference, and of course the interest rate decision. There's no predictions here, right? Just to remind us, the Bank of Japan held negative rates for about 17 years, then they've raised to zero, and then they raised again. So the new prime minister, he looks like he's a pro-raising rates. So we might see some actions from the governor of Bank of Japan. So far, lately, the past weeks, due to the strong dollar, the yen's been weak, so maybe we'll see some move. Definitely, we will see some move. Some traders are hoping for the strength of the yen, as it showed a lot of weakness in the past week. So, Bank of Japan, interest rate decision Thursday. CPI numbers from Europe, followed by important number for the Fed's core personal consumption expenditures from the US. That's Thursday. And of course, the highlight of Friday is the non-farm payroll. For new people, it's important that you watch the way the market, I think it's one of the events or the announcements that affect the market the most. So definitely you could see how market is reacting a little bit crazy if you've never seen that, with the spikes up and down until it finds the direction. So again, non-farm payroll, we're having that on Friday. That's an important number, and that's the last employment number before the next Fed's decision. Of course, that comes with the hourly earnings and unemployment rate and so on. And we have another data from China, manufacturing PMI and CPI numbers from Switzerland. Okay, so these are the things for the upcoming week. Make sure that you prepare if you are trading anything that might be affected by these numbers, which is pretty much everything these days as we are in the global economy. Now, 10-year yields, important to pay attention to it. Four was a key number we discussed a few times. We went higher, we held, we had a double bottom here, and then we moved all the way, closing at 423. Lower than the high of the week, but still super strong. Remind us the 10-year yields are affecting the US dollar, of course, affecting the equities, affecting gold. So in this case, as we said when we talk about gold, normally the US dollar would be strong and this would cause the gold to fall, but both of them are strong. That's what we discussed, and that's what the article's been talking about. Now, these are the assets, something that I started, I think, last week. I will probably continue. It's something to pay attention to because of the big numbers. Sometimes they continue the week after, sometimes they are going into correction. So these are the biggest gainers and losers for the past week. We'll take a look when we get to the charts. We'll take a look how it looks on the chart, but here we go. Natural gas up 11% on the week. Now, also, I concluded numbers here just to give us a little bit of perspective where we are year to date. That means from January until this day, what the instrument done. So this past week, we up 11%. For the year, we're still down about 23% on natural gas. Palladium, we up 10.89%, and we just went into positive territory on the year, up 5.88%. Crude oil up last week, as we said, in the worries about the war in the Middle East region, up 4.37 on the year. We're up 10%. Now, on the negative side, take a look at cocoa. It continues sliding. We'll take a look at the chart. It looks very interesting there. It's down 8.78% on the week, but take a look what it's done on the year. Still, after a few weeks of falling, we're still up 345%. Just to remind us, fundamentally, it's a shortage of cocoa in the West Africa, where it's being produced mostly in the world. So that's cocoa. Coffee, also down 3.73% and still up 40% on the year. And this is Russell 2000. Of course, it's not a commodity. It's the US index for the small cap. It is down 3.16%, the most out of the US indices, I think, of all indices. And it's up on the year only 4.84%. So these are the champions and the losers for the past week. Now, also, we'll take a look at Dow Jones. It's been selling last week. I think we went straight 5 straight days down. And I just, out of curiosity, I went and I wanted to see the biggest losers of the index and to see what's really pushing it down, as NASDAQ went up and S&Ps went up, especially on the move of Tesla. We'll take a look at the chart shortly. So these are the biggest losers. They lost over 1% on Friday. On Dow Jones, here you go. McDonald's, for obvious reason, with the E. coli, we said it. Dove Incorporated down 2.5%. Travelers down 231. Goldman Sachs, by the way, the whole banking group went down on Friday. We'll take a look at the charts as well. So Goldman is down 2.25%. Merck Pharmaceutical Company down 178. IBM down 1.7. Johnson Johnson, another pharmaceutical, 1.7. 3M 136. JP Morgan, another bank, down 1%. And Verizon Communication, which had earnings, also went down on Friday as well. So why am I showing it to you? You know, if you're trying to succeed in trading, it's important that you're trying to find common sense in it. Sometimes actually it doesn't work because market not always or always not sure which one is the right thing to use, but it has its own life. But at least understanding things, what's Dow Jones, what's inside the index, and what's affecting it. Okay, so this is Dow Jones, and these are the 10 biggest losers that pushed it. Especially Friday was a big sell-off on Dow. Okay, so let's start with a little bit of technicals. So we start with China, as we usually do. As we go through indices, take a look. This is something that I mentioned to you, right? We had a huge move when they start really injecting funds and changing the structure of the banks holding cash and so on. Huge move. We went, I think, to the level I mentioned it, 2012, and then we came back and we did erase about half of that. We actually somewhere in, you know what? Let's just do this. We're somewhere right in between on this move, around 50%, right? And that's what I mentioned, I think, last week. We're probably going to be stuck here for a while between 61 and 50% retracement, as the first 2 days were super strong, a sell-off here, negative reaction after a nice move to the upside. Just to show you the monthly chart, we went, here we go, went at the super high level. So we did go down. So with that, of course, as we mentioned, a lot of times the four assets are affecting or being affected by China: oil, copper, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, as they are being affected by China on the demand side, right? Copper is being in demand in China, and every time the economy is showing positive things, copper goes higher, and vice versa. Same thing for oil. And both New Zealand and Australia are the countries that exporting a lot of goods to China. So those two currencies, New Zealand and Australian dollar, are actually being called by traders commodity currencies. So all these four assets are connecting to it. So let's just take a quick look. As you could see, copper is right in between in the channel, also acts in a similar way to Chinese index. Now, crude oil is trying to move this late or the latest or the last day of the week move. It's to do, of course, with the war in the Middle East, and both Australian and New Zealand dollar are moving lower. Of course, a lot of it to do not just with China, but in this case, mostly in the strength of US dollar. We'll take a deeper look at currencies when we get there. So these are the things. Now, so that's your China. Let's take a quick look at Japanese index. It's been sitting here right on the 50-day moving average here. And as we said, this interest rate decision this week from Japan will be playing a lot of a big role in the next move of Japanese yen, which in return would definitely be affecting the Japanese index as well. Now, let's take a quick look at the US indices. As we said, NASDAQ had a nice move both Thursday and Friday. Friday was a big move. We retraced though, mostly on the move up on Tesla as well as NVIDIA moved higher. I think it established the all-time high, or at least tried. S&P, for the same reason, we had to move to the upside, and then towards the end of the session, there was actually a sell-off. And as I mentioned to you, Dow Jones has been selling 5 days in a row. and we came right to 50-day moving average here. And as we said, the specific stocks that affected it. So these are the U.S. indices. Germany is trying hard to move higher. Friday was a red day. Thursday we were in green. Let's see. We have a lot of numbers this upcoming week, both from Germany and the European Union. Let's see how it will affect the German index. Now, here we go. The UK FTSE, as we said, has been sitting here. We did try to move out of the channel. We came right back. We're right in the middle of the channel. There's a lot of congestions here, a lot of consolidation, a lot of accumulation. You can use any word you'd like, but definitely something is happening in this level. We did try to move higher a few times. This was the first recent attempt. Let's just mark it. 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive attempts within a couple of months, and we are not managing to approach the highs that we had back in May. So let's see if we are continuing lower. Let's see how support holds here. We did have a breakdown here in August. I came right back, so definitely we'll be watching what's happening in FTSE here. So that's as far as indices. All right, let's move to individual stocks. And as we said, the few of them had important things happening. One is Tesla. We had earnings, nice reaction. And Friday, there's a continuation to the upside. It looks like we did break that 265, and we closed at the highs at 268.73, a little bit shy of this spike that we had in July. The price here, the high was 270.58. So something to watch, definitely. Now, as we said, banks reacted in a negative way. Let's take a quick look at the banks, but before that, let's do it gradually. Here's McDonald's. This is the first reaction, I think, when the news came out, and it was a reaction to the upside. And Friday, I guess, when it came public, I'm not sure. I just found out now about this. I didn't know when the actual news, when the rumors came out. I won't speculate on that. But Friday was a sell-off, erased this attempt to recovery, and we closed at 292. As we said, it's a series so far as of 25th of October, 75 people were affected. Again, back in Jack in the Box, I think 10 times more Americans were affected by the E. coli. So let's see what's happening here. Now, as we said, the banks went down on Friday. We back below the support that was a resistance here back the end of July. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan reacted as well. Bank of America, Citi, all the banks moved lower on Friday. That I think 10-year yields that we showed is not really helping as well. So as dollars moving higher. So these are the stocks that are being affected. Also, Boeing. I think the latest news I checked, they still haven't reached the agreement with the strikes. It was a reaction here, and then we came and closed the gap. So I guess the saga with Boeing continues. Now, as I mentioned to you, 150 stocks out of 500 S&P 500 stocks are reporting this week. So there's a lot of them. We'll probably go through a few of them. So Advanced Micro Devices are reporting on Tuesday. Alphabet, which is Google, reporting. First Energy, McDonald's, as I said, reporting. PayPal and Pfizer are reporting on Tuesday. So let's take a look at Alphabet. See how it looks. Here comes Google. So it's been a week, as you know. They are in the middle of judgment by the U.S. They're blaming the company monopoly and other things. So as you could see, after the sell-off, if you look at technically, we're still holding the resistance around 168, and we are so far bouncing right off the 200 moving average. So we are holding so far here. We established a little bit of hope for traders, which is the higher low from the previous one, but we haven't seen the higher high yet. So we pretty much between the 200 moving average and between on the upside, we are around 168, 169. So let's see, maybe the earnings will have a positive effect or negative effect on the company. So that's as far as Google. Now Pfizer also reporting. Let's take a look at the company. It's been selling. We are moving towards the 200 moving average here, and it looks like we might be testing again this low here around $28 that last time we reached beginning of the month. So Pfizer is reporting on Tuesday. We'll be watching that. Now Wednesday, we have another bunch of stocks: Caterpillar, Coinbase, eBay, Eli Lilly, and another one of pharmaceuticals. And from the big boys, we have Meta, Facebook, a parent company for the Facebook, and Microsoft. So let's take a quick look at Meta and Microsoft. So here comes Meta. The stocks lately has been strong. This past 2 weeks, it's a little bit of correction here, as you could see on the daily chart. It's really chaotic. When you see chart like that in a major company, it looks like one of those ADR companies that foreign companies trading on exchange as ADR. I don't know. I hope I'm not confusing you. The chart doesn't look good with the spikes and breaks. But definitely we'll look forward to hear about the earnings and what the CEO has to say. So that's Meta and Microsoft. Where are you? Here we go. Microsoft as well. It's really holding that down-looking trend line, as you could see here. And that means that we are making lower highs, right? Just to remind us, the company was doing great. It was a major investor in the OpenAI, I think, and then they announced that they kind of removing themselves from that AI activity, and I think that was the reaction. We spoke about it a while ago, and since then Microsoft is doing okay, not crazily positive. So reporting together with Meta on Wednesday. Now Thursday we have a few other big guys reporting. That includes Amazon, Apple, Comcast, Intel, Microsoft, and Uber Technologies. Very interesting. Let's start with Uber. It just shows you how the initial reaction sometimes fades away. If you remember, this was the move on October 5th, sorry, 10/10, October 10, when the robotaxi presentation came from Tesla. Tesla went down, Uber went up. It took a few days or a couple of weeks to come and close that gap. So we're back where pre-gap level around 77. Uber is reporting on Thursday. Amazon, here we go. Also choppy here. We are above all the three moving averages here. Let's see what the earnings will bring to the company. And Apple, here we go. Apple looks okay. We did try to break through the high of July. It was a spike that faded away, and we are around $230 currently. So Apple also reports on Thursday, and two stocks that are, or two companies that are connected to oil, of course, Exxon and Chevron. Here's Exxon, which it looks much stronger. We spoke about it. It's been holding up very, very nicely. And Chevron looks weaker, but also we had recent moves to the upside. We are below 200 moving average here on Chevron, and we are above all three moving average here on Exxon. So they both are reporting on Friday, right? So I guess Intel is the other one reporting. It's actually for Intel, it's super important, because just to remind us, there were a lot of talks on Intel, and Intel reports on Thursday as well. If you remember, when it went to 1951, we spoke about Intel reaching its book value. Then we had to move up. Then we made a lower low here, and since then we moved higher. Since the last comment and some positive projections on Intel, and they came up. I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Came up with a new processor, right? Finally, it's something to speak about, and the market reacted in a positive way. So Intel is reporting earnings on Thursday as well. So that would be it with stocks. We move to commodities, and let's take a look at those losers and gainers that we mentioned. Natural gas, nice move, and I think we spoke about last week that we were sitting on the 200 moving average here and also on the support line, and we said that we might see the move to the upside. Actually, it did happen. A nice move so far. We had the double top here both Thursday and Friday with the spikes and retracement. So let's watch this week for natural gas. Palladium makes some traders very happy. If you remember, we spoke about palladium many times. That's been selling with all the excitement about electrical vehicle, and I mentioned to you that it looks like the conventional engines are still there and they're selling pretty well. So the palladium is being used in exhaust system. It should be still in demand. And after a lot of traveling here back and forth, we finally, this past week, we broke through this resistance, or the channel that we actually held since March. The high here on March 10th was 1,118.20. We closed at 1203, breaking pretty much to the upside, and Thursday and Friday was super strong days, also on the high volume. So that's a good sign for palladium. Let's see how we feel when we get to a next level of resistance from mid-December of last year, when the high was 1258. It's about 50 points, 55 points from the current closing price on Friday. So that's palladium. Crude oil, as we said, it's been strong. We had a strong week, pretty much recovering half of the previous week's loss. And let's see if that continues, especially with the new developments in the Middle East over the weekend. Now, on the negative side, as we said, cocoa did the opposite of palladium. It broke through the channel to the downside. And we've been in this channel since we established that low on May 3rd. This is the daily chart. And this past 2 days, we broke below, and we had 2 days closing below and the full candle closing below. So let's see if this move continues. A lot of actions here, a lot of spikes. Also, as you could see, the volume increases as we broke through the channel. So we might see continuation here. On cocoa, just to remind us, this past week, it went down 8.78%, and it's still up on the year about 345%. Doesn't make sense. Let's see. Well, I found it on the website. I'm just trying to check my own words here, which are not mine. So the low here was 41.90. We are at 67. So I guess the website is not really correct, unless I'm confused. In any event, we're still up on the year a lot, and I think it's not 345%, so we can disregard that number. It's important to check the details. So that's cocoa down 8.78, breaking below all the spikes. We are below 50-day moving average here. Coffee as well. It's been a down week here, and we are still holding this 245 level. Coffee is down 373, 3.73% on the week. Now, gold, as we said, it's important to take a look at it. Where are you? We said gold is keeping the all-time highs. So does the Nasdaq, and Nasdaq actually a little bit far, but S&P 500 are around the all-time high. So we'll definitely be watching the data from this week, and that includes the NFPs that kind of ends the week, and it's the most important number. So those are the commodities. Definitely will be watching for this week and see what's happening there. Let's move to Forex, as we said, with the 10-year yields keeping very strong, dollars keeping very, very strong here. So you could see we are fighting for this area here. If you remember, the sell-off started with the big sell-off day here in August 2nd, with the huge losing day. We came right back to it. So the high of this day on the 2nd of August was 104.20. We actually right around that area, trying to really break through it. We are above all three moving averages here. So dollar is strong, of course, no brainer. If we go through all the majors, it's just the mirror image of that. This is euro trying to break through the support 107.70 area for the same day. This is the August 2nd, as you could see, where euro dollar went up and the weak dollar. So we are around the same level. Pound dollar, it looks a little bit stronger than euro here. We had the move up on Thursday and a little bit red on Friday. Now, Japanese yen, as we said, it's very, very important to watch what's happening this upcoming week with the interest rate decision. We're sitting right on a 200 moving average here. Definitely we'll be watching what's happening in Japanese yen with that decision coming up. USD CAD, as I mentioned, it's been flying on the strength of the dollar and the relative weakness of oil, taking into consideration what's happening in the Middle East. The pair has been flying. We are trading currently at the level of August, the beginning of August. That's where the dollar took the dive. Now we're back to that territory, and definitely we'll be seeing with all the speeches of the governor. As we said, we have at least 3 speeches this week. We'll be watching what's next. Now, the 3 pairs that I give you as a bonus last week. Let's take a look what happened there. We spoke about strength of the ZAR, of the South African rand, right? And it continues being strong here. We did have a move on Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday, we sold here again. Something is positive about ZAR. I guess we'll find out soon. But it's been holding very, very strong against the dollar. Now, we also spoke about USD Hungarian forint, and we said that we are at that point, we were right here at the level of resistance from August level. And we said that if the dollar continues strong, we might spike and continue higher, and the opposite scenario might come lower. And take a look at the very, very positive day for USD Hungarian forint. We came from 367 to all the way to 374, 375 almost. So we'll continue watching that. And we did break through the previous resistance here from June. As you could see here, visually, we are above that level. And the last one is USD Norwegian krona. We also said that this current level at that time was current at 1090. Would be a very serious level, and we said, if my memory serves me well, we said if the oil continues to be weak and dollar continues to strength, we might continue high here. That's exactly what happened this week. We are still holding about above the 1090 on USD ZAR. Okay, that's as far as the currencies, and as I promised, for dessert, here comes the Bitcoin. Now on Bitcoin, as you know, it goes sometimes the opposite direction of US dollar. So as the strength of a US dollar is holding, we had a little bit of correction here from the recent highs around 70,000. Now we are trading currently, this is the live market here, we currently trading around 67,200. But something that caught my attention here, take a look. The 50-day moving average, which is the green line, is slowly coming to cross the 200, which is among some traders called golden cross, where 50 reaches or breaks above 200. That gives some of the traders a bullish signal here. So as of now, if we take a look on the daily chart, we actually a little bit shy. So as you could see, the moving average of 50 is currently around 63,200, and the 200 it's around 63,217. So let's see if this session closing with the cross, it might give some bullish signal. Again, it's just the technical term here. We don't really know what fundamentally is happening. We'll be following Bitcoin in the upcoming week. Okay, so it's a lot of information, and let's just try to put it all together. So we are continuing with the earnings. So this week, as we said, about 50 companies out of S&P 500, sorry, about 150 companies out of S&P 500 are reporting this coming week. Among them, some major ones, including Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Uber, and others, Intel, oil companies, a lot of them. So prepare yourself, get more details if you need to. We have NFPs, which is the highlight for the economic calendar. As usually, it's the first Friday of the month. We have interest rate decision as well from Japan. Bank of Japan will be making that decision. We have speech from Governor of Bank of Canada. Let's see if there's something new about Canadian dollar. A lot of events. Prepare yourself. Get some rest. Still have some time. Have a successful week. Watch your risks. Have a plan, and have a very successful week. All the best. Take care.